My great honor to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening. Our speaker is a shining example of our school's dedication to education throughout the years in our ultra-rural setting. His is a life of success that should be honored and emulated. Kenneth Spittler is a 1971 graduate of Pickens High School, where he led his graduating class and peers as class president. He continued his education and graduated in 1981 from Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. He earned 2 Bachelor of Science degrees, majoring in political science and English literature. His hard work and dedication to his educational pursuits is illustrated through his introduction into the Lambda Iota Tau International Literature Honor Society and the Pi Sigma Alpha National Political Science Honor Society. In addition, in 1998, he was a distinguished graduate from Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. Kenneth served and defended our country for 30 years in the United States Marine Corps. He began his career as a private, but through determination, commitment, and industry, rose to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. We thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce retired Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Spittler.
Thank you, Christine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, the staff of Pickens School, and most especially the graduating class of 2024. It is indeed an honor to be here sharing this special moment in time with you all. It's hard to believe it's been 53 years since I, along with the other members of the class of 1971, sat here in this very gymnasium. As I glance around this old gymnasium, I think of it as a time capsule that holds the memories of so many special events: basketball games, alumni banquets, proms, and graduations. Events that most of us here have witnessed or participated in. Tonight we are gathered to add to those memories. Mason and Hunter, this is your night. The culmination of a 12-year journey that will end here when you receive your diplomas tonight. From the onset of your school days, you have had your family, friends, and teachers to nurture and guide you in preparation for the journey that will begin when you depart this building tonight. Henceforth, you will assume the lead role in determining what direction and where your life will take you. Your generation will see and experience things at a much faster pace than any generation before you. With the invention of the computer, followed by the internet, smartphones, social media, and now artificial intelligence, your generation will face challenges and opportunities that will change our society and world at what will seem to be warp speed. I wish you luck. You have both expressed a desire to join the Air Force as a possible gap between high school and the professions you will ultimately pursue. Joining the Air Force will afford you training and opportunities in a multitude of military occupational specialties. It will provide an atmosphere conducive to learning and growing, but within the structure of a military organization where there are certain common tasks and abilities that all members must learn and remain competent in. You will also be exposed to a cross-section of America as you train, befriend, and serve with men and women from every state in this country, and sometimes even foreign countries. Initially, this will come as a bit of a culture shock. The hillbillies, the cowboys, the city slickers, the surfer dudes, and many others will come together to ultimately form a team and a bond that you right now cannot begin to imagine. You will also forge friendships that will last long after your military service ends. Some of these men and women will become like family to you. You will come to fully understand what is meant by the term band of brothers. At this point, you know very little about the military and what to expect. You will come to Truth is, the military is not for a lot of people. Let's look at what most will find a startling fact. With a total U.S. population of 333 million, in today's all-voluntary force, less than 1% of all adults currently serve on active duty. As such, those who choose to serve in today's military indeed take the road less traveled. For me, I thought that after I completed my tour in the Marines, I wanted to attend college and become a lawyer. So I got out of the Marines and attended college. Upon graduation from college, however, I realized I no longer wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a Marine. So I returned to the Marines and served for a total of 30 years. It was the right decision for me, and though I encountered the good, the bad, and the ugly, I have never regretted that decision. I began my military career as a private and retired as a lieutenant colonel. I have visited almost 50 countries, served with members of all our military services, most of our federal agencies, and the armed forces of many other countries. For me, it was an exciting and challenging career. But what is the key to success in the military? Initially, it's just to keep your mouth shut and do what you're telling you. Basic training is intended to transform you from a civilian into a military member. You will learn military customs, how to march, how to wear your uniform, and basic military skills. No one likes basic training, but it is your introduction to the new lifestyle you have signed up for. Air Force basic training is held at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. It is a unique city, and you will even get a chance to visit the Alamo. After basic training, I would offer 3 points to consider if you strive to succeed. The first is very simple and very easy. Be nice. I once heard someone say that the best way to have friends is to be friendly. That sounds too simple, but if you think about it, it's true. You will find it is much easier to build relationships and get things done if the other person likes you. So be nice. The second point is to work hard. Achievement requires effort, a lot of it. You should set goals for yourself and strive to achieve them. Remember though, as I once heard someone say, a goal without a plan to achieve it is just a daydream. Once I decided to make a career in the Marines, I asked myself, what do I need to do to achieve that next promotion or the one after that? A seasoned senior Marine who had taken me under his wing to mentor me told me, you must assume that every Marine you are competing for promotion with is as talented and deserving of promotion as you are. However, only a limited number of Marines are promoted to the next pay grade. Therefore, you must do what you can do to make yourself look better than the other Marines you are competing against. I took that to heart and came up with a plan. Although I have a college degree, the service places a great deal of emphasis on military education. So I signed up for continuing military education programs. I volunteered to go to military schools that would make me even more proficient in my job. And I always ask myself, what else? What else do I need to do? The military, as well as most businesses, are merit-based. They choose to reward those who deserve it. Once I progressed to a position of leadership in the Marines, it was my responsibility to train and develop those Marines assigned to me so that they might succeed as well. Once I reported to a new duty station and assumed command of a group of Marines, I initially just observed them going through their daily duties. It didn't take long for me to identify my heavy lifters, as it's called. Heavy lifters were those Marines who always tried a little harder, volunteered for the difficult jobs, or took time to help another Marine who might be struggling with a certain aspect of training. I focused on these Marines and special shift to help them develop and grow to assume more responsibility. It was hard work, but necessary as they would become the future leaders in the Marine Corps. And that brings me to the third point, be patient. Things take time. Your basic training takes time. Following school will take time. And after all that, it will take time for you to become a duty expert in your field. Each new generation brings with it a fresh perspective as to how the armed forces should function and how to achieve improvements in key areas. When I first entered the officer ranks, I was assigned as a counterintelligence, or CI, officer. I hungrily devoured everything that I could about how we operated and supported the Marines and other service units we were attached to. Marine Corps CI didn't exist until 1948, and the doctrine and principles that we embraced in 1987 were still the ones developed shortly after World War II. After a few years in the fleet, as we call it, I began to question if it was not time to upgrade and change some of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. Of course, as a young officer, my thoughts and opinions were largely ignored by those further up the food chain, who were very satisfied with the status quo. Then came the Gulf War, and it became evident to me and many others that our shortcomings left us inadequate to support a much more mobile and lethal military. Fortunately, the Gulf War was quickly won as Iraqi forces were no match for the 42-country coalition that the U.S. was able to amass against it. It was labeled the 100-hour war. However, even that short span of the Gulf War highlighted the shortcomings of military intelligence across the full spectrum of its disciplines. It was a glaring deficiency, and the Marine Corps scrambled to fix it. Working groups were formed to highlight these deficiencies and make corrections. While these working groups were hard at work in seeking ways to improve intelligence collection and reporting, the situation in Somalia flared up. I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, along with my 20-man team, was deployed to support the humanitarian effort there. Initially landing in Mogadishu, we were shortly forward deployed inland about 125 miles to a town called Baidoa. Away from the headquarters element, which remained in Mogadishu, I was able to deploy my team to provide what I thought was much better than relevant support to the Marine and Army forces I was supporting. This new alignment of CI forces was viewed very favorably by the supported units, and they began to report to their higher headquarters how productive it was. Eventually, it came to the attention of the senior Marine Corps officials, who ultimately decided that this was the way we needed to provide CI support on future battlefields. My immediate senior headquarters were not at all happy with this directive, and as I was the one who opened the can of worms, I was sent to our training school to lead the effort to revamp our CI curriculum and develop new support doctrine. While a few may have thought this was a form of punishment, I relished the chance to lead this effort. I assembled a competent crew, and in the span of 4 years, we were training our CI students to these new standards and deploying them to their supported units, much better prepared to serve. How effective was this new doctrine? Let me give you an example. In the early hours of fighting on Operation Iraqi Freedom, an Army convoy took a wrong turn and quickly became lost in the early morning darkness. Subsequently, they were attacked, members of the convoy killed, and PFC Jessica Lynch taken captive. Immediate efforts were taken by all units in the area to determine where PFC Lynch was and whether she was dead or alive. A few days later, a Marine unit entered the area and joined the effort to find PFC Lynch. A 5-man CI element was attached to this unit and quickly began screening local civilians to determine if any of them knew what happened and where she was. A local man was questioned, and he told them he knew where she was being held. This information was quickly reported to me, and I passed it to higher headquarters, where Special Operations Forces quickly acted on the information, located the building where she was being held, and PFC Lynch was rescued with just minor injuries. Under our old doctrine, the CI personnel would remain with the headquarters and depend upon the troops in the field to pass the information back to them. Under the old doctrine, this critical information would likely have taken several days to reach our headquarters. However, our new doctrine put the right people in the right place at the right time and asking the right questions. So be patient and remember that sometimes changing things takes time. If you bear these 3 points in mind, I think that they can serve as a guide whether you remain in the military or pursue another goal after your term is completed. I mentioned earlier that by joining the Air Force, you will be taking the road less traveled. In closing, let me quote from the Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Hunter and Mason, you are both taking the road less traveled by in our society. And I hope that somewhere, ages and ages hence, you too